Sometimes in life, the gods smile upon you, my friends.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stock Market Show. This is your host, Shades. Let's talk about Clsk stock. I've moved on from Mara stock. Mara stock has been a real bummer. It's been a real... let me just show you why Mara stock is disappointing. So Mara stock normally moves about to 20. It moves to like 25 and 30. Okay? That's usually what it's done in the past, right? You can see here 25 to 30, right? After a downtrend, it recovers to 30. Here, downtrend 34, downtrend 27, downtrend 30 bucks. Like this thing always goes to at least 25 to 30. This time it's failing to do so. It only went to 23, didn't go to 25 or 30. Let's look at Riot stock. Funny enough, Riot stock, this stock went to, it was at a cheaper price than Mara. And not only did it catch up to Mara's price, but surpassed it. That's what's funny. So, I've been trading Mara for a long time. So I figured, you know what, it's time to move over to something else. CLSK here, we would expect 25 to 30 as well. This is a big level up here at 24.72. That's the top. It's been the top. You can see when we go back in time, the one time we did break above that level, we went to 42. That's a big level. It's no surprise that we got pushed down there. So from here, the question is, as long as Bitcoin itself and the market holds and we continue to pump, November especially, so November is a big month for tech and for crypto as well. Then if we see Bitcoin go to 150K, we would expect CLSK to go back to 23, then hopefully break above and go to 25, then 30. So pretty much the same setup. The difference between CLSK and Mara is this right here. Let me just pull it up for you. Their revenues. Their revenues have been exploding since 2020. 10 million, 39 million, 131 million, 168 million, then a huge surge to 378 million in 2024, and you look at the quarterlies, their revenues are they're going up by like 50 to 90% quarter over quarter. So the only thing that, if we're just looking at the bottom line, right? The bottom line, are they getting more demand for their service/product? When you ask that question, are they? Well, you would have to say yes, because revenues don't go up if there's no demand, right? The only thing that sucks is if you look at the cost of goods sold, yeah. Let me put it this way. For every hot dog you sell, let's say you sell a hot dog for $1. For every hot dog you sell, you're also like, it costs you $1 to even sell that hot dog. So you end up at break even. So that's kind of like the analogy I like to use, right? If you're making a total revenue of 168 million for 2023, but your cost of goods sold is negative 260 million, I mean, that's they're technically down, 100 million there? So that's just something that I'm not going to call it a red flag, but just something to keep an eye on for the future. Hopefully that starts coming down, right? That you can't be running a business where every time you sell a hot dog, you actually end up in the red anyways, because it actually cost you $1.20 to make the dog, right? So, but bottom line, they're getting more demand for their service/product. They were included in the, set to join the S&P Small Cap 600. How is that behaving? Yeah. How is that behaving, I wonder? Yeah. So Bitcoin mining update. Bitcoin treasury goes to over 13,000. Expanded their Bitcoin backed credit line by 200 million in capacity. Do they dilute? That's something I didn't look up before making this video. Let me check. If they diluted, because they had the CEO Zachary Bradford. He still holds. He did sell some shares. He sold 50,000 shares on October 15th, but he still holds like 1.2 million shares. So he didn't really sell much, right? Like he did not sell like his own position or anything. There's no major red flags or anything like that. So he's still holding a lot. Now, obviously, if he dumps a huge amount, then that'd be concerning. But he only sold a little bit of his holdings. So that's nothing to be concerned about. What about dilution? I assume they don't dilute. I assume they don't dilute because of the Bitcoin backed credit line, but we'll check right now because these companies tend to dilute because they got to raise money to pivot into AI infrastructure. CleanSpark enters Texas market with land and large-scale power acquisition, by the way, to rapidly deploy an AI data center in Greater Houston. 271-acre site is positioned on a major fiber backbone. Expansion into high-performance compute and AI infrastructure. Let me just see, is there a date for this? I'm wondering, okay, I was looking for some dates here. A substation construction plan is already underway with the long lead time items secured. CleanSpark intends to begin site design and development immediately, with phase development expected to support AI workloads as the company continues to expand into digital infrastructure platform. This is expected in the first half of 2027. Damn, we still got a long way to go. So this is not going to be valued as an AI infrastructure play anytime soon because they're just barely building everything out. But it's something to keep an eye on for the future, right? Let's see what else. Yeah, in terms of dilution, did they dilute? They diluted. They diluted in November. Yeah, they've been diluting. They diluted in November. What? Let me check again. No, that's wrong. That's got to be wrong. No, they didn't dilute in November. It's barely November. What is it? Yeah, June 30. There was 50 million in dilution. Yeah, they've been diluting. Not a lot. Like 50 million is not a lot. For those of you who don't know, Mara stock diluted like what, 500 million or a billion, something ridiculous like that. So 50 million is nothing. So they do dilute, but it's like so little compared to Mara. And they're using the money obviously to pivot into AI infrastructure. So they're doing all the right things here. Yeah, so So for Mara stock, the reason I'm moving away from Mara stock is diluting. They dilute like crazy, like they dilute like hundreds of millions of shares every time, and then usually it drops quite a bit as well. Whereas this company is only diluting like 50 million at a time, slowly diluting, but not like this massive. Just boom, here's this big, 500 million dilution, and then the stock drops a lot. And they're diluting because of the pivot. So yeah, so the CEO ain't selling big. They're not diluting like crazy, right? It's not a dilution machine. So, and they're not just diluting to take the money. They're clearly, they got a game plan. And we'd have to wait until 2027 probably for, maybe this thing to get evaluated as an AI data center. Probably, hopefully not, but. So yeah, I mean, this is the big bet right here. This is what you're betting on. Bitcoin miner Clsk announced it is working with Submer, a global leader in sustainable modular AI data center design and construction. The two companies are working together on an infrastructure platform that integrates power generation, data center development, and AI service delivery. I'm assuming based on that number that they gave us, it's going to be a while, right? 2027 is still a year and like what, 3 months out. Yeah, anything pivoting into AI infrastructure is not gonna, like, they're not just gonna spawn buildings out of nowhere. Like, construction teams take time, planning and everything like that. That's all gonna take time. I wouldn't be surprised if CLSK drops back to like 10 at least, 10 to 12. I could see that happening. Because that would be normal, right? Like here it went to 42, dropped to $1. Damn, I hope that doesn't happen. Went to 24, dropped to $6, went to 24 again. It would be normal for it to drop to $6. Like that would just be kind of like under 10 would be like huge opportunity. I only have 200 shares that I'm selling covered calls on, but I will add big on this one if it comes under 10, because that's where the real money is made, right there under the purple line. Let me check the weekly just to see what the story is there. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're bullish on this, you have to be willing to hold till 2027. Because again, the market has short-term memory. The market has short-term memory. So, you know, all these bullish articles could come out, and it doesn't mean anything because people don't care. They only care about it when it's actually doing the thing. So it depends, though. It depends. That's the thing about the market is you just how the market reacts is you just never know, right? Like Microsoft, they had good earnings and it dropped. Meta had good earnings and it dropped. Tesla had bad earnings and it pumped. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't. You never know what the market's going to do. But if you believe in the due diligence long term and you're willing to hold for 2027, I think at some point we could see that share price appreciate to 30 plus easily, maybe even 50. But you got to be willing to hold for, you know, a year plus. If it moves sooner than that, that's great. Please, the quicker you can move to 30, 40, the better, right? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Bitcoin, let me look at the weekly time frame again. Yeah, we would expect kind of like consolidation around here. Monthly, huge rejection. Yep, as expected. Quarterly, yearly time frame. Yearly time frame, we're slowly trending upward, right? Oops. I've seen this with BBAI. BBAI as well has the same channel, so we would expect it over the course of the next few years to continue to go higher. So yeah, and maybe this is even I don't know if I want to call this an ascending triangle, but it could be. Doubtful, but maybe. Let me go back to the daily and let me just make that comparison to Bitcoin. I just want to see something here with Bitcoin and CLSK. Because when Bitcoin hit a high, where was... I just want to see what the correlation is. Bitcoin... When Bitcoin hit a high here, let's go to the weekly. When Bitcoin hit a high right here at 70,000, October 31, 2021. October 31, 2021. I'm just looking at the historical data. So October 2021. Let's look at CLSK. Same time frame, October 31st, 2021. Where's October? Am I crazy? Or February, October? That's 20. Where's October 31st? Okay, so in October, yeah. So when Bitcoin hit a high back in 2021, CLSK hit a high as well at that same level at $24. And then it tanked, right? Yeah, then it tanked. And then here it hit a peak on March 25, 2024. Let's look at March 25, 2024 for Bitcoin. March 25, 2024. So on March 25, it hit a top here. So it does follow Bitcoin. When Bitcoin hits a top, CLSK hits a top, and that top happens to be $24. So, and hit a top recently on October 13, 2025. Bitcoin hit a top in October, 5, 2025. So it does follow Bitcoin one for one. So it's not even being evaluated as as an AI infrastructure play right now. It's just literally just following Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin tanks, that's a buy opportunity for CLSK. Now, when Bitcoin tanks, obviously, CLSK drops like a hot pocket, right? Like I can show you this, right? Here it hit a bottom. Bitcoin hit a bottom on April 6, 2025. So let's look at CLSK. Where's April 6? Here it is. It hit a bottom. CLSK hit a bottom. When Bitcoin hit a bottom, CLSK hit a bottom as well on April, right? April 6th, around here, April 7th. It hit a bottom at $7. So just keep in mind that CLSK, it does follow Bitcoin. That means that if Bitcoin tanks, you're going to see CLSK drop to like under $10, which is, again, nothing more than opportunity. So if this does come under 10, you better believe that's when I'm going to add big. That's why I only added 200 shares up here. I'm okay with buying 200 shares up here. I don't care. I'm not concerned. But if it does come down to this purple line and under, that would be 10 and under, funny enough. That is always opportunity. Always. So keep an eye on Bitcoin itself. Because once that bottoms somewhere, this thing is going to be like, what, 10, 12 bucks and under, somewhere around there. I just showed it to you. When Bitcoin drops to a low and hits a bottom, at CLSK can drop from 24 to $6, which is a lot. So you have to be like, you have to have, I don't know, I don't want to say you have to have balls, but like you got to be willing to hold through that pain. Like you got to understand, if you bought up here, you got to be willing to hold through that pain, knowing that it's going to come back up once the bull run comes. Because we know during the bull run and the Bitcoin hits a top, we hit this high of 24. I mean, that's multiple touches already. I'm thinking that longer term, again, for the next 2 years, we eventually do break out above 24. Again, it's going to take time, but yeah, so there you go. I think it's bullish long term. Short term might see some pain, but as long as you're willing to hold, you'll be fine. I will add big if it comes down to 10, because that's just how I am, right? I'm going to add small up here, but I will go big down here where it makes sense. That's it for the video. Hopefully this helps you out. Let me know what you think, how many shares you're holding. Again, bullish, but you got to be willing to wait till like 2027 to see if this gets starts behaving more like starts following the stock market more so than Bitcoin itself, because it's literally following it one for one. So
Crossing, I take my chance. Risk is managed, I let it dance.